Tesla's stock turnaround needs these three things to happen first, according to a stock analyst. Let me guess here. Number 1, delete people's irrational fears. Good luck with that. 2, quell the emotions of traders who think they're investors and the super obedient algorithms that do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it according to what's going on in the world, because that's how it works. And number 3, cut interest rates. Oh wait, none of those things are within Tesla's control, huh? Maybe they should just keep executing. Looking forward to hearing these comments.
Tesla is a Magnificent Seven's biggest laggard year to date, but it's not the only one. Shares of Apple and Alphabet are also in the red since the start of the year. Now this week, we are focusing on these three laggards and what it's going to take for the companies to turn things around. Today, the focus is Tesla, currently trading just around $179 a share, a loss of nearly 30% this year alone. Our next guest, though, say that now could be a good buying opportunity. For more on that and what the catalyst will be, we want to bring in George Generikis. He's with Canaccord Genuity's managing director there. George, it's great to see you. So talk to us about why you think Tesla is a buy at these levels.
Well, first, let's address the reason why it's lagged. I mean, it's pretty simple. The numbers have come down. I mean, if you look at the earnings revisions for the last 12 plus months, they've been terrible. I mean, I think we started for 2023 somewhere early in that year on $6, and it came all the way down to $3. And I think we're at a period of time right now where the worries likely exceed the reality. And we had some numbers last.
Call me crazy, probably true, but I think he may have a point. In fact, I'm pretty confident he does. The fears at the moment appear super disproportionate to the reality. But don't tell too many people, still buying with every spare cent. Just think about the amount of FUD we're seeing. Endless fear, uncertainty, doubt, concerns, EV demand slowing, alleged China concerns. Again, there are none, but people looking into the production at Tesla's main export hub, looking at deliveries locally in China, which are extremely volatile because sometimes they export more in a month or a quarter than other times. Oh no, the domestic deliveries are down. Panic. The competition is supposedly still coming. I think a lot of short-term traders who think they're investors are going to be super embarrassed by some of their decisions around Tesla a few years from now and definitely a decade or so from now. Still boggles the mind that folks are selling Tesla around these levels. Maybe their decision will age brilliantly and I'll be super embarrassed. But 5-10 years from now, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Last week come out of China that weren't very good, but those people didn't take into account that the new year has been pushed into February.
Wow, you just said something that's true. Just can't believe how embarrassing it was to hear reports in the media. Tesla saw a huge decline in monthly and or quarterly output out of nowhere compared to Q1 last year at the same time, failing to account for the Chinese New Year falling in a different month. People seem to be desperate to find something to be fearful about at the moment.
Also some, stuff that happened in Germany. Their plant came down for about a week because of arson, a week plus. And in the US, people are worried about the production of their new Model 3. And we think that the best way to kind of gauge, for the most part, what's happening with Tesla, particularly in the US, is to look at their prices. And they've been pretty stable in the US over the last few months. So, there's a lot of wood to chop still in the quarter, but in the near term, we think that we may have overcorrected here to the downside.
They talked on their most recent earnings call, George, about the spending and some of the record R&D that they had done during 2023, which now places a lot of emphasis on bringing that to fruition in 2024 and years following now. How much of that spending do you anticipate will lean further towards the side of this artificial intelligence narrative that has started to prevail with Tesla, even though we've seen some early slippage this year, at least in the price action?
Look, we're in a little bit of a pause period right now for the stock. In the near term wiggles, we think we've overcorrected, but for the stock to really get its legs, we have to have three things happen. First, the next generation vehicle has to start to ramp, or people have to gain confidence that it's going to ramp and be successful. Second,
I'm pretty confident personally that the next gen vehicle will not only ramp but be successful, and that's a massive understatement. Those with access to my Tesla valuation model, if you're on Patreon at the investor level and above, you'll have seen it. Know how many units I think this platform could ultimately sell. Now, I do believe there'll be a couple of variations on this vehicle platform, just like the Model 3 and Y are built on the same platform. We've got a sedan and an SUV. But the next gen vehicle platform, in my opinion, given the price point, what Tesla's going to be able to do, continued cost declines, the new modular manufacturing system, and presumably being a bit smaller, so less physical material, plus the possibility of some humanoid robots helping to build these things in the future. This vehicle platform alone, I believe, could exceed or at least match the total vehicles sold per year from the world's two largest automotive manufacturers today. Give or take, call it 10 million units. And I know that sounds crazy, but we will find out eventually. And on this point, as I've mentioned in the past, it would be absolutely insane for Tesla to mention too much about this, especially to consumers, but even to investors until it's ready to roll. Because there's going to be a lot of people who hear about this and go, hang on, why would I buy a 3 or Y when this next one's coming out soon and it's going to be much more affordable and almost as good? I'll just wait. So again, I think Tesla's the lead time between first announcement, e.g. you can order one now, deliveries commence XYZ time, and the first deliveries is going to be the shortest in the history of any Tesla product.
Their margins need to go up, and the most likely lever for that happening is the increase of FSD, full self-driving penetration, which leverages the AI that they've built, in addition to volumes starting to pick back up. And third, it's continuation in growth, really good growth in their energy storage business. So when you talk about leveraging this R&D that they've spent a lot on, it's two real products that come out of that, the big spending. It's number one, that next generation vehicle, which we think should start production in the second half of 2025, and continued FSD penetration. Now, we think that the FSD offering from the company at $12,000 currently is a little too rich, particularly relative to the cost of the vehicle. We think the company should cut the price of that FSD to really increase penetration and really have the margins start to turn in. If you think about it, that offering is about 100% gross margin, very, very high gross margin because it's a software upgrade.
George, we have seen, though, the price wars play out. Obviously, Tesla, far from the only automaker, one of many, I should say, that has been forced to lower the prices, obviously putting pressures on margins, very similar to what you were just saying. How do you see that, more broadly speaking, beyond Tesla, shaking out just a bit, and that pressure to the downside in terms of boosting demand? How much longer are they going to be forced to slash prices in order to drive the demand that we simply have not seen?
Well, look, there's been
So before George answers, I have some thoughts, and I think that the answer to how much longer is as long as rates remain where they are. I suspect when they start coming down a meaningful amount, might take a few months or so before consumers start to feel a bit more confident and or find out they can afford to finance a vehicle and so on. I think things are going to reverse pretty quickly, but I don't know what I'm talking about, so take it with a grain of salt.
In a pause, like I said recently, particularly in the US, the price declines that we saw for the most part in 2023 is sort of ebbed right now, which for us is an indication that maybe things aren't that bad. And what the company did strategically by being that aggressive is, first of all, they get to sell more vehicles, right? Because interest rates went up and most people financed the purchase of their vehicles. So that meant that the prices of vehicles went up artificially. But second, it put a lot of their competitors on their back legs. I mean, margins got a lot worse for some of the pure play EV competitors. Sales got a lot worse for them. And even for the traditional OEMs that try to compete against Tesla, their margins got significantly worse because they couldn't compete with Tesla on price. So
George is spitting more facts here. People so easily forget or just don't want to think about the fact that Tesla doesn't exist in a vacuum, and anything they do with pricing, given the fact they're the industry leader in terms of technology and value for money, forces the hand of other companies. Either they stop producing and selling electric vehicles, or they cut prices accordingly and lose even more tens of thousands of dollars per vehicle sold.
What we saw is, longer term, what Tesla did is put a lot of its competition on the back foot, particularly in the United States and Europe.
And so let's talk then about China, because that's one of the larger kind of lingering risks right now for Tesla. Is sentiment shifting so much?
Wait, what? China? Lingering risk for Tesla? What? Huh? I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. Does anyone understand what he's getting at here? Or is it just a random FUD talking point that doesn't really make sense?
Much in the region that there would be a longer term implication for how Tesla is able to operate and sell into China as well?
That's a great question. I mean, look, we see the real competition for Tesla long term. Look, we really like Rivian in the United States and in parts of Europe and other parts of North America. But in China specifically, there's some very, very good OEM competitors, some pure play EV companies. The company has one plant in China right now, able to produce about 950,000 vehicles. And they're running, despite this monthly volatility, they're running full tilt there. And we continue to believe they'll run full tilt in that country. So there's really good competition in China, but we think Tesla can operate that factory at relatively full capacity that leaves them in a good place in that country.
So George,
Okay, so much for the China concerns. Now, there is a concern about China and electric vehicles, and that is Well-priced, fairly compelling Chinese-made electric vehicles eating the lunch of today's mid-priced and even lower-end ICE manufacturers.
As we wrap this up, we started this segment talking about the share price being under pressure. We're trading around $179 a share today. What more specifically does that upside look like?
Look, our price target is in the 230s, and we base that on 26 times our 2026 estimates. And we think that's going to happen as volumes start to pick up.
So I've got to say, to me, that multiple seems wildly low, assuming Tesla does successfully solve autonomy. And obviously, the multiple is the operative number there. If the multiple was twice as high, so too would the price target. Of course, this is more art than science, but here's a bit of homework. If you're curious, check out Apple's earnings multiple. A fairly mature, fairly slow-growing industry leader with some hardware and software thrown in the mix.
Next year and the year after that, based on increased Cybertruck production and the next generation vehicle. And importantly, we think that the margins will start to get better, particularly as we've seen an abatement in price reductions, at least for now, and costs continue to come down for the company. So, in the near term, we have these wiggles, and we think, like we said, we've overcorrected to the downside in the near term. But, for real outperformance, we need to next generation vehicle or some visibility to that, increased margins based on FSD mostly, and continued growth in their energy storage business. Those three things will really get the stock to get its outperformance legs of old back.
Well, here's hoping none of those things happen so I can keep buying. The market cap just over $500 billion. Still boggles the mind, and I still just can't wait to check back 5-10 years from now. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. Certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.